Serach was the daughter of Asher, one of the sons of Yaakov. She was among the 69 members of the family who descended with Yaakov to Egypt. And she was among those who crossed the Red Sea and were counted by Moshe in the census of the wilderness. When the time had come for the Israelites to be freed from slavery, it was Serach who identified Moshe as the liberator. For there was a secret code that God had communicated to Yaakov, who passed it on to Yosef, who revealed it to his brothers. And in this way, Serach, the daughter of Asher, came to learn it from her father. Before his death, Yosef made the sons of Israel swear, saying, "When God has taken notice of you, you shall carry up my bones from here." So when the time came to leave Egypt, Moshe searched everywhere for Yosef's coffin, but no one remembered where it was. After Moshe had tired himself out trying to find the coffin, he encountered Serach bat Asher, who was a survivor of the generation of Yosef. Serach said, "My lord Moshe, why are you so downcast?" Moshe replied, "For 3 days and nights I have been searching for Yosef's coffin, and I can't find it." She said to him, "Come with me, and I will show you where it is." Moshe said, "Who are you? And how do you know where the coffin can be found?" She said, "I'm Serach bat Asher, and I know. I was present when the coffin of Yosef was sunk into the Nile." Serach led Moshe to a shore of the Nile, and there she said, "In this place, the Egyptian magicians and astrologers made a metal coffin for Yosef and sank it into the Nile so that its waters should be blessed. Then they returned to Pharaoh and said, 'If it is your wish that these people should never leave this place, then as long as they do not find the bones of Yosef, they will be unable to leave.' Then Moshe leaned over the bank of the Nile and called out, 'Yosef, Yosef, we are leaving. Come with us, come now.' At that moment, Yosef's coffin suddenly rose up from the depths. And when Moshe lifted it out of the water, it was as light as a feather for him. So relieved was the spirit of Yosef that his bones were at last being taken to the Holy Land." How long did Serach bat Asher live? Some say she lived until the days of the temple, while others said she lived even longer than that. One account has it that she died in the 9th century in a synagogue in Isfahan. Until this day, the Jews of Persia make pilgrimages to the synagogue of Serach bat Asher, the holiest Jewish site in Iran. Others say that Serach bat Asher never died, that she was taken to the heavenly Garden of Eden. There, Serach had a palace of her own, where she teaches Torah to the righteous women. And they know that every word she says is true, because she was a witness to all the miracles that took place in those mighty days. The Baal Shem Tov taught that forgetfulness prolongs exile. Remembrance is the secret of redemption. There would have been no redemption from Egypt had Serach bat Asher not remembered where Yosef's bones were to be found. Forgetfulness prolongs exile, and remembrance is the secret of redemption. Without memory, we stay in exile. And I'm not just talking about physical exile, I'm talking about spiritual exile. There is no moving forward in our lives without memory. There is no future without the willingness and ability to carry with us the past. But must we carry the painful memories too? The regrets, the missed opportunities, Memory can be sweet and soothing. It can provide us with a sense of who we are, a firm ground on which to stand. It can propel us forward and guide us on our way. But memory can also be a heavy burden and weigh us down. It can become a prison and keep us trapped in bitter and awful places. So which memories do we take? Which ones do we need to leave behind or wish we could leave behind? What memories, what fragments of our past is the old Serach Bat Asher inside us leading us to, buried deep in the rivers of our life, that we should never leave behind and forget, that must be retrieved, because without them we won't be able to fully be ourselves, to be free and to move forward. What memories are best left in lead caskets at the bottom of those rivers in our lives? The challenge is that it's not always up to us, because memory also can be cruel. We forget what we want to remember and remember what we'd rather forget. Another story about memory. The Midrash tells us that after Pharaoh issued the decree that the baby boys be killed, the Israelite women were afraid and would go to give birth in the fields. God would appear to them when they were giving birth to their children, tend to them, and clean the newborns like a midwife. It's an amazing midrash. God would appear when they were giving birth in the fields and be their midwife. So when they left Egypt, a while longer, later, and God appeared to them at the crossing of the sea, these women were the ones who recognized God first at the sea. They pointed and said, Ze Eli ve'anveu. This is my God. Aviva Zornberg comments, the women at the crossing of the sea recognize their midwife when God appears to them over the sea. What they have experienced of love and care in their own moment of crossing, at the breaking of their own waters, becomes a key to understanding the miracle at the sea. From their most intimate knowledge of the verge, the seam joining life and death, they are the first to know the God who splits the waters and brings life through to another shore. Memory is then the connector between different moments and phases of our lives. Through memory, the past erupts into our present. And if we are able to recognize it, it helps us to make sense of our lives. Memory enables us to create one continuous story, consistent, where all the pieces hold together in a meaningful whole. History doesn't always repeat, said Mark Twain, but it often rhymes. What are the memories in our lives that rhyme? Jonathan Safran Foer writes like this: Jews have 6 senses: touch, taste, sight, smell, hearing, and memory. Memory is no less primary than the prick of a pin, or its silver glimmer, or the taste of the blood it pulls from the finger. The Jew is pricked by a pin and remembers other pins. It is only by tracing the pinprick back to other pinpricks. When her mother tried to fix her sleeve while her arm was still in it, when his grandfather's fingers fell asleep from stroking his great-grandfather's damp forehead, when Abraham tested the knife point to be sure Isaac would feel no pain. It is only by tracing the pinprick back to other pinpricks that the Jew is able to know why it hurts. When a Jew encounters a pin, he or she asks, What does it remember like? Does anyone know what the philtrum is? Nobody knows? The philtrum is the vertical groove right above the upper lip. How many people knew the philtrum? I had to look it up, but truth, I don't even know how it's said in Spanish. Because it's not something that comes up very often, the philtrum. It's not a part of our body that we think about much. But the philtrum plays a significant part in the Jewish tradition. And there's a wonderful story about it, many of you know it. It's a Midrash Tanchuma. And it tells that there is an angel named Laila who teaches all the souls before their birth. Laila lights a candle which allows the soul to see from one end of the earth to the other, and then she teaches the soul the entire Torah. Right at the moment of birth, Laila gently taps the baby in that place above the lip, the philtrum, and the baby forgets everything it has learned. So when we study, when we learn Torah, we encounter something familiar, something we once knew and was stored up in the recesses of our memory. In other words, learning, not just Torah, learning anything, learning wisdom, is an act of recovery, of reconstituting, of piecing back together, of remembering. And remembering, according to the Hasidic masters, is not just thinking about something in the past, but remembering is actually reliving it. Remembering is re-encountering and re-experiencing. Now we will go into Iskor and we'll go deep into our memories to reconstitute, to remember, to re-encounter, to re-experience. Some of our memories will fill us with a sense of beauty, with serenity, with love, and with profound gratitude. Some may be hard and painful. But remember what Zerach Bat Asher taught in the teaching of the Baal Shem Tov. Forgetfulness prolongs the exile. Remembrance is the secret of redemption. May these moments of memory be meaningful and fruitful and make us free.